Hi, Mary Michael. It's Dave from OptimalResume.com. It was a pleasure speaking with you today on the phone. I wanted to give you that summary video that you can share with others at the University of Denver Career Center so that you can get an idea of or share what we talked about today. I'm going to first show this from the student perspective. We're talking about ResumeGPS and what it means, how it works for students. And so essentially when a student's created a resume with our product, or uploaded one by the way, but the student has the ability by clicking this button to basically make this that single document searchable by employers. And the opt-in process is very easy for the student. Students can check a box to opt in, and then as I showed you, they can basically check another box if they want to make their contact information private at all times. After they do opt in, what ResumeGPS really, why it's unique is that from the employer perspective, when an employer searches on resumes, and I'll show examples of how, actually I might as well show it now, of how schools are, let me find the file here, schools like the University of South Florida are putting a branded version of this resume search / video interviewing program inside their employer portal. So this is an example at the University of South Florida. They have CSO research. I'll open up another file for you here. At the University of Miami, this is a NACE-Link school, how when the employer logs in through that portal, basically the employer now has the option to both search resumes and video interview candidates from the University of Miami. And so what I want to show you here now, literally at the level of this document that the student opted in, when they join this program, they become a passive candidate, and then there are these two built-in video conferencing options that I showed you on the call. One is kind of static, we call online interviewing. The other is live browser-based video conferencing. A lot of intellectual capital tied up in this one here, which is a browser-based video conferencing solution. So, we talked about the merits of online interviewing. It's very easy for the employer who's interested in an individual's resume to basically create a screening interview, to send that interview to the student. The student receives the email when they have an employer request to respond to questions. Then literally the student comes into this document at the level of their resume, the GPS resume, and then can respond to the employer's questions. And so I have already submitted this particular response, but what's very nice about this is if you're an employer who's used to telephone screening, having the option to do this, to basically quickly create a screening interview, select the candidates that you're interested in, and then receive alerts when there are new responses for you to look at. It's a very nice way to get the same information that you might get on on your standard telephone screen. So that's kind of option one. We call that online interviewing. The other option here is our browser-based video conferencing solution, which a lot of intellectual capital tied up in this one because unlike Skype, there's no installation required. This works right from the browser, your internet browser, and it's going to give the student the ability to come in, open up this GPS resume, and have the video conference with the employer at the date and time that was scheduled by the employer. So it's a directly scheduled event between employer and student. And so it takes a second to load because we actually encrypt this software because we don't want any hacking into it. What I'm going to do for a second is, because my webcam is being used by this movie, I'm going to pause for a second so you can see here. And now that I've freed up my webcam, you'll see here by hitting the allow button. I'm going to join again. Hello, this is Dave from Cary, North Carolina. So, this is again a very what's innovative about this is it's a browser-based solution, and there's no time limit on these. And all the student has to do is open up that document, and they can join the employer at the mutually agreeable time. And what's nice also from a tracking standpoint is this is a video interviewing solution that the Career Center can track. With Skype, getting it set up on the machines, getting people to create an account, scheduling the date and the time, and then being able to track those. It's all issues right now with Skype. We have reports that are built in where you can see which employers have used this, which students have been involved, and then you can kind of hopefully correlate that to a placement. But that's really what's unique about GPS is that when you opt into this program, the student may very well be invited to come back in here at the level of this document and do some video interviewing. And then the other things obviously is the student can later, because this is a test account and I've only used test organizations, I can't see any employer statistics, but the student can actually see which employers have clicked on their resume. They can also obviously pull up all the messages that they've sent to employers here. So everything's managed at the level of this document. So let me switch over to the employer perspective real quick here. I'm going to enable my webcam. One more second. So hi, I'm back again. So from the employer perspective here, I'm showing you now a view of where employers can access this program, and there are really two places. This is OptimalResume.com's hub. This is the place where an employer can come in and search resumes from on one site from over 230 colleges, and so it's easy for the employer to focus on a certain state, certain type of school, people with a specific GPA or major, etc. I will kind of pull up this school, this Optimal University school that I just showed you from the student side, to show you how basically the filters dynamically update here on the right. And really for employers, the idea is that the value is not only do you get to kind of look at resumes, and you can create, I'm not sure if I showed you this, Mary Michael, but the ability to download PDF books here based on your searches. That's all very nice. What we think is the real value add on this is the ability for employers who want to do virtual candidate screening to use these different options. We have tools that make, obviously rating candidates very easy here. Keeping notes on candidates is made easy. All of your messages with the candidate are archived here, and again, the two built-in video interviewing options. And so the idea about Resume GPS is for the employer who does log in on our central hub here, after Optimal Resume validates that employer, all resume searching is free, but if the employer does want to actually contact, for example, this candidate, the employer would have to pay. There are two basic options, which are resume books. The resume book option, which is prices are listed here, very affordable, or the other option, which is candidate screening access, which gives the employer the live video conferencing, the online interviewing, the ratings, the notes, etc. with candidates. And so there's basically, the pricing works that it's basically an either or, a certain amount of time or a certain number of candidates. And underlying this entire program is whenever an employer makes a purchase here on our hub or on the university domain, which I'll show you next, the idea is that it's a 50-50 split. So if as I mentioned, this is a new potential income stream for the University of Denver Career Center. We track the total number of clicks. We know when an employer pays which students they're clicking on. Basically, that creates a percentage for each school, which would be that school's share of the overall revenue. And so that's another benefit of this program is, to the extent that career fairs are not generating as much income for schools, this is a nice 24/7, 365 way for schools to bring in new income, and I think also save employers quite a bit of revenue in their own efforts on the employer end. The last thing I want to show you is I know I showed you some screenshots of Tampa, University of South Florida, University of Miami. This is an example of, imagine that you're logging in here at Furman University as an employer on the NACELink portal. The idea is that you would pull up a branded page like this that only has students from your institution. And so if you do put this inside the Denver portal, the employer would see a Denver branded site, only Denver students, but it would have the very same functionality and business and pricing model where employers can search the database from top to bottom. All candidates initially would be presented like this, where the employer can only see the documents by clicking on the names, and if they wanted to basically get access or video interview, they'd pay. And so you're giving employers the option: do you want to do video interviewing? Do you want to use this service after seeing the quality, the depth and breadth of the database of candidates that are available? And so that is pretty much kind of an overview. I'm sorry I went very quickly through it, but there's a lot to talk about. And again, we think this has the potential to create a new income stream. It certainly can offset the price of the Optimal Resume product. And I know you guys are under some budgetary constraints there, so I would hope that this is again, if you look at what some other schools are doing, how prominently they're placing this inside their portals, I think that my guess is that if 10 to 30% of your employers use this next year, it's going to pay for Optimal Resume and then some, hopefully, depending on the level of investment for each employer. And so if you need any more information on anything I've talked about in this video, please let me know. Again, Resume GPS, it's real easy for the student to opt in. It gives employers a new option when they log in on your portal to basically look at candidate documents and video interview very easily without a lot of logistical issues. And for the career centers, I think it's the ability to generate a new income stream, and we think it makes a lot of sense. So we hope you all will join the program. Again, Dave at Optimal Resume, I'd be happy to give you more information if needed, and we look forward to continuing to provide you with excellent service. So thanks very much, and I look forward to hearing from you. Have a good day.